Hi, it's Sandy Parker, and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. Today we're going to be making a bag for a friend of mine. We're going to be making it so it fits a purse. I hope you'll stay tuned. Well, one of my girlfriend's birthday is coming up, and I wanted to get her, she wanted this pink purse, and that's what it looks like. It's wrapped up. It's really a pretty purse, but anyway, I wanted to make sure my bag fit this purse perfectly. So I came up with this measurement and hopefully it will work. So she's turning 17, by the way, and I'm going to use this paper that I got a long time ago at Michael's. It's silver foil paper by Craft Smith, and it was in their hot buy section at Michael's. I'm sure they don't have it anymore, but it's one of those things, if you want to find it, I'm sure you'll find something close to it because it's just your basic silver cardstocks. You're going to need 2 pieces of 12 by 12 paper, as well as 2 pieces of 4 by 12, which are these. I'm also going to be making my handles by using 2 dies. I kept these together so you could just see what I did. I took some layered dies that are, the ones that are a big bunch of rectangle dies, and I just put them together like that, and I ran them through my Vagabond 3 times, and then I glued 2 of these white cardstocks to the back of this silver piece, and I'll show you, that's going to be our handles, and I'll show you that when we get to it, but for now I just wanted to make sure I showed you how I did that. You're going to take your 2 12 by 12, and if your paper has a direction, and mine does, I think basically it points up in this direction. So I want to make sure when I do my scoring, and it's only 1 score, you're going to do it on the back. I'm going to show you on the back, but it's going to be so that if the top of the paper is pointing to the right. Hopefully that made sense. The top of your paper should be the right. So if you have a direction in your pattern, the top of that pattern should be facing the right side of your scoreboard. So I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to score it at only 1 time 3 inches. And we're going to do that on both of these. This paper has a tendency to crack. That's why I'm scoring from the back. I think I have better success by doing that. And again, on this piece, I'll show you. I think this way is the top, so I'm going to turn it 1 turn so it goes this way, and then I'm going to flip it over and score it again at 3 inches. Then I'll take our 2 little enders. These are our sides. Again, they're 4 inches each. And we're going to score those on the 4-inch side, you're going to score them at 1/2 inch. Oh, and mine doesn't have a direction, in case you wondered. This just, you can just go in any up or down, doesn't matter. I'm going to score this at 1/2 inch. I'm going to do that a couple times because this is thicker. And 3.5 inches. Oh, jumped out of the track. What else is new? Get in there. And then I'm going to do the other one. Same way, 1/2 inch. I don't know why I looked at it. I already told you it didn't have a pattern that faced the direction, but I had to look at it just to convince myself. And 3.5. And then we're going to turn them 1 turn so that we're on the 12-inch length. And then you're going to score it at, 3 inches. Should have known that. Same thing with this piece, 3 inches on the 12-inch side. Okay, we have to do a little trimming, nothing spectacular, but it's just a little bit of trimming we need to do before we finish up. What I'm going to do with that little box that's at the bottom, you probably can't see it, but I'll draw it for you so you can see it on one of these, because I think it won't really matter once I cut it out. You have a bottom score. I'm gonna, yeah, I guess I'll just hide it. The score goes like this. You have one here, and then you have this one and this one. Yeah, I did it really straight. I know it. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut inside or into the center of those score lines. You don't want any of those score lines to be left behind. And then we're going to do a little bit more with that. And then you're going to cut away this score line too. Okay? So you're going to start with that little box. But I also want you to cut a little teeny tiny piece off this on an angle. Hopefully you can see that. See the little angle there? And then on this piece, I'm going to have you cut a very thin little diagonal up to that score line. Okay, I'm going to show it to you this time, only this time I'm going to cut it on an angle right from the very beginning so that I can have the whole thing cut quicker. And then I'm going to cut that on an angle too. So hopefully you can see that there's angles on both sides and angles up here. Then you're going to cut a teeny tiny little bit off of these top pieces too, just a little bit. Again, right up to that score mark. Or you can take it from the score mark and go down just a little bit. I don't want to take much off though. Just so that when you put your bag together, if your bag's off a little bit, those little notches you just did will make it so that you don't have any issues putting your bag together. It'll be completely invisible once you put them in there. And we're going to do the same with this one. I'm not going to draw on it for you. I know, I could have. These are my Hay scissors, and they're the name of the brand is Hay, and the type of scissor is called Phi, P-H-I. I keep the tag on it so I remember to tell you that. They're P-H-I scissors by Hay. They're really nice scissors, and they have really nice long blades on them. And you know, I struggle with using scissors, and I really like these. They're easy for me to cut with. And if I can find something that's easy for me to cut with, then I like to tell you guys so that it's something that you can have too. And then we're going to get one of our bone folders. This is my favorite bone folder. I know a lot of people like silicone bone folders. I don't. I have one. I don't know where it is right now, but I've never been really fond of it. So I like this one because of the way it's shaped. You can still buy this even though it's discontinued. I've seen it on eBay a lot. So that's where I look. It's made by Fiskars. And then this piece will fold up. And because this purse is heavy, I really want to make sure that this bag is sturdy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple things to make it sturdier than normal. And that is I'm going to put a piece of cardboard in the bottom. And I'm also going to put some brads to hold my handles in place, because I think that'll make a big difference. And this is that piece I drew on. Don't worry about it. We won't worry about that, will we? The first thing we're going to do is we're going to get some tear tape, and we're going to run the tear tape. Put that other way. I don't know why I got it all of a sudden. I'm going to put tear tape on, okay, just the sides, because I'm going to put wet glue, I think, on the bottom to hold the bottom together. Or maybe I'll put both. Maybe put tear tape and wet glue. And when you put down tear tape, make sure that you really rub the edges of it so that it stays attached when you're pulling the backing off. If you don't do this really well, you'll end up having a problem. Different than the one I have right now where I went on an angle. I don't know why I went on an angle doing this, but anyway, you want to make sure that when you put on tear tape that you really rub it down so that it stays on the paper when you take the backing off. Because sometimes, I don't know if you've ever had this happen, but sometimes you rub it and you didn't rub it really well and you end up having an issue with it. The backing coming off and the rest of it coming off with it. So let me put these on, and I'll just put all my tear tape on and I'll be back. So I took the backing off of the bottom of this piece so that you'd be able to see this. And I'm going to fold it under because this is the bottom of my bag. Okay, so I'm going to put some glue on the flap at the bottom. I also have some tear tape there too. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to lay this onto this flap, and I want them to line up exactly. So that means I really want my score lines to be where they need to be, which means the score lines, I need to move that back a little bit if I can. You want to make sure that this lines up exactly with the bottom edge. Then I'm going to put wet glue on this side flap too, because I'm going to attach this to the side of my bag. I'm going to turn the bag so you can hopefully see this. Okay. You're going to turn in your side flap, and then you're going to lay it, hopefully, you're going to lay it lined up. That's why it's so important that you really do a good job of folding them when you do that first. And use your bone folder on it. Because if you do it right the first time, you won't have any problems with lining it up. Like, see how nice that looks? Okay, then I'm going to do, we've got this is sticky underneath. So that's where you're going to be putting your other flap from your other side of your bag. And again, you'll see that in a second. Let me get all the backing off here. Again, we're going to put glue right up to our score line. Not sure if you can see this. Let me see if I can move that a little bit out of your way. I'm going to put wet glue. As I said, I put tear tape on this, but I also like to add wet glue because in case I kind of mess it up, I like to make sure I've got a plan. And then we're going to put a tear tape folding back on itself there. I need to, it's sticking out over the top. I need to fold it back on itself. I have to explain these things to myself sometimes. And then we're going to line this up again with the side of the bag so that when you lay it in place, it's completely flat. And then we're going to fold in that side again, put a little bit of tear tape, a little bit of wet glue. I already have a lot of tear tape on it. A lot of wet glue on there. Or some wet glue. Any wet glue. So that when I fold it up, we can be certain that it's going to be lined up properly. If I could only see it, you know what I mean? Okay, let's see how to put that. That's about straight, except for that little spot right there. That looks better. And then, of course, you want to use your bone folder or your finger and really rub the inside. And I have this piece of cardboard, and I'm going to stick it between my layers. So I'm going to stick it right underneath the layer that I, see that? I'm just going to stick it right there. Okay, so then what I need to do, I need to put wet glue on the bottom of this piece, on the inside of the paper on this one. And we're going to lay that in place so it's exactly even. The other thing you have to remember is when you're using paper that is that's got this kind of foil on it, you sometimes have a problem with keeping it attached, like getting it to stay attached. So I'm going to try and make sure that I rub everything really well. And I need to put more glue on my bottom here because it's not staying on there. So my next plan is to put a piece of paper around, well, first my plan is to get my geez, I can't think of the word, my handles in place. And then I'm going to glue these behind it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my rectangle that I cut out, as I said, out of 2 different dies. I'll put this off the side for a second. And this is about, it's almost 6 inches. So I'm going to make them a little bit under 3 inches long each. And I'm just going to eyeball this. If I could get my hand off of this piece of paper that I'm glued to, that'd be great. There we go. Those are my handles. These are, from side to side, they are 4 5/8 inches. That is about 3 3/4, and on this side it's about 3 5/8. Close enough. We'll go with that. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that both of my pieces, you know, both sides of it are going to be adhered. So I'm going to put some wet glue under here too, because you know it's always better to have more glue rather than less. This is what this little strip is going to come in handy for, if I can unglue it from its buddy. Oh, jeepers, Sandy. Why? Why do you do these things to yourself? I don't even know. I'm going to put wet glue where there isn't tear tape. That way we can be sure this thing is going to stick. I need to poke a couple holes into my handle because I'm going to put these on with brads, and I think that makes it a lot smarter, because the brads will make sure that it doesn't fall off. Okay, so I want to use, I think I want to use a smaller hole. And there's my brad. So my brads are like, they have like a diamondy look to them. I thought they would go well with the other thing. See that? Let me push those through and I'll be right back when I start to do the other side. Okay, so I put both sides on, and here's how I decided where to put the other handle. I kind of pinched in the sides like this, and then I squeezed it so that they were together, and then I laid that one in and kind of tacked it in place with the little bit of tear tape I put on it, and then I put my brads in and I put more wet glue on it, and there you go. So it's very, very, very sturdy. And then the little girl that I'm giving this to, well, she's not a little girl, she's a lady. She's 17, and so I made this from something that my friend Sherry sent me. It was stamps and dies from Fun Stamper's Journey. I don't know if they make this anymore, but it's called Pennant Numbers, and it's the stamps and dies, SS0065 and DI0087, and it was fun. And I used some silver embossing powder, and then I took some seriously old stickers that I had, and here's the end of the piece that I used, and I just ran it down both sides like that, and I thought it needed something because it was a little bit plain the way it was. I thought that would make it a little bit more spiffy, and then I figured I would just tie this to one of my handles. Okay, there's the 17, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to trim the ribbon so it looks like a bow, even though it's not a bow. Do it like that, and same side, same thing, different side. So that is my bag. I'll be showing you the card I'm going to be making her. It's also going to be handbag inspired, and before I do that, let me fill this so you can see what it looks like with the purse inside. Okay, I got this gift tissue from the Dollar Tree, and I really like this piece that's silver, and it's kind of what is that word? I don't know. You know what it is. You fill in the blank right there when you think of it. And I'm going to just fold this a few times. I watched a video on how to do a great job of putting things in a gift bag. And honestly, I don't think I'm capable. You put things up, you kind of shake it up in the air. It was labor intensive, and I thought, man, I'd love to be able to do that, but seriously, it's not in my wheelhouse. So here it is. Wait, I'll turn it sideways so you can see it, so that you can see that it's got things puffing out the top, but the purse is actually to about right there. So it fit perfectly, exactly what I hoped for. I hope you enjoyed this and that you give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and please tell your friends about me on social media because you know I love that. And thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.